shareholding, what are the decision making that you will be having lah, right? So depending again, coming back to the objective, right? Um, if your objective is to just put money in and then sit back, then the terms in the agreement will look very different. If you tell me that your objective is to be actively involved in the business, then the terms will obviously have a lot more management rights in it. Yeah, so I think one thing that I really try to do with all my clients is really to sit down and talk to them and just be very open about what they want out of it, because sometimes what's said on paper or it may not translate, right? For example, I love coffee, right? And maybe one day I'll invest in a cafe, right? And I have to ask myself, right? Am I interested to go and make coffee myself and to really be there to run the cafe? Or do I like the fact that I'm just going to put some money there and then I'm going to turn up and drink coffee all the time for free? So that's two different scenarios, right? But maybe on paper, it would just look like I want to invest X amount and like, I just want to be there and I think
The
sometimes
involvement.
yeah, the degree of involvement. So people always feel like, oh, if you put money then or you invest in something, then that means you want to be very involved, right? But that's not necessarily the case, right? Or they see that, oh, every investor would want to have absolute rights.
Yep.
So then they try to skew the agreements to be very pro investor. And that ultimately causes a lot of friction between the people who are running the operation and the investor, right? And then the management will eventually get frustrated and then wants to buy out the investor, which is something that we don't really wish to see, because this is something that we can really work out from the start.
So that's something that you will be heavily involved in terms of drafting this whole memorandum of understanding, or how you call it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it goes back to like what I'm trying to achieve to to be part of this business, and maybe I can also offer you like scenario based situations. Would
Yeah,
you say
for
so?
sure, for sure. I think the legal clauses are in our head, or rather already in our knowledge, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think the difficulty or the gap sometimes between the clients and the lawyers is that, hey, we're speaking in this like alien language sometimes, or we're just like, hey, this is your joint venture agreement or shareholder agreement. Please take a look. Let me know if you have any comments.
Uh,
And half the time the client's like, I don't have any comments because I don't know what
yeah.
you're trying to say here, right?